Major features of life in the old regime and aristocracy. First, we'll talk about maintenance of tradition. While nobles and peasants worked towards tradition, the reform group the Enlightenment worked towards change. This was because nobles and peasants wished to restore their rights and traditions. Peasants wanted their customary rights to access land and courts. Nobles pushed against monarchical bureaucracy expansion. The economy remained traditional, so throughout Europe, grain harvest was a big part of their tradition, and the people and government were very focused on the quantity and quality of it. Next, we will talk about hierarchies and privilege. During 18th century Europe, the people were divided by their classes within dress, privileges, and rights. There were even laws regulating the dress of the people, only allowing people of certain classes to wear certain clothes. This separation of the classes was a main part of society, and rather than individual rights, people of Europe had the rights of the community they belonged to. Each group had certain rights and privileges that had to do with their class. This could mean being exempt from taxes, being able to pursue a certain career, or the right to be educated on different crafts.
Next, we'll talk about the varieties of aristocratic privileges. The British aristocracy was the wealthiest class, with nobles being born into their class and position. Nobles were often grouped by their family. With over 400 families, the eldest male family member sat in the House of Lords and had control in the House of Commons. This is where they gained their power. With their social and political power, their wealth was often invested in commerce, real estate, and industry. Landowners did not reserve many legal privileges. Instead, they held great political and social power. They dominated British society and politics of the time period.
French nobility grew to over 400,000 nobles through Louis XIV and his creation of the nobles of the sword, who fought in his military, and the nobles of the robe, who held positions of power or were promoted to nobility by Louis. They were further divided by the creation of Versailles based on which nobles held office there. Nobles in the court of Versailles had immense wealth, influence, and connection, while provincial nobles had much less wealth and privilege. However, they were all exempt from taxes to some degree and could collect dues from tenants. Throughout Eastern Europe, the nobility experienced different levels of power in the countries but shared similar privileges. The aristocracy held power over the serfs in all countries. For some, this was one of the small political powers nobility held, such as in Poland, Austria, and Hungary. Prussia and Russia nobility held greater power in their country, as many were a part of the bureaucracy and their nobility was protected. The privilege of tax exemption was given to all of the aristocracy in different degrees. Eastern Europe shared the main privilege of tax exemption and judicial power over the serfs to aristocracy.
Originating from the Russian charter of the nobility, the resurgence of the aristocrats spread across Europe. Monarchies increasing their power began to make nobility feel threatened. The nobility resorted to traditional and ancient rights to maintain power over the expanding monarchies and keep their societal position, beginning with making nobility more elite to keep their nobility exclusive. They tried to take power from the monarchy and worked for more privileges and more money for power. These included tax exemptions, higher rent collections, and forgotten feudal dues to improve its financial position.